Peace be upon you. To the great people of Syria, this is Hadi Alabdallah speaking to you. This is Syria. Here, where tyranny reigned for an age, and the pain piled up until it spanned a lifetime. Syrians paid a heavy price for it, a price of fear, death, and displacement. This is Syria, where silence and oppression piled up in every alley until it encroached upon their very lives. In the spring of 2011, a group of boys rushed forward. With their free hands, they began to write on the wall. "It's your turn, doctor." They wanted to express an innate freedom, a freedom they had breathed in from the plains of Horan. And among them was Hamza al-Khatib. He went out to join the ranks of the free people in Daraa. He was arrested, but his silence in their faces stood taller than any attempt to make him bow. They mutilated his body. They disfigured his beautiful face. Hamza returned to his family as a cold body, silent, just as he had been in the prison. His ravaged face was a shock to every free soul. Anger erupted, the streets overflowed, and the revolution became a momentous, unstoppable force. Then came Homs, the steadfast Homs of Al-Walid. It was blazing with anger, as if its heart overflowed with all it carried in its streets. The fire of anger was burning away what remained of fear and silence. And from among its youth emerged Abdelbaset al-Sarut, carrying the courage of an entire generation. He was a goalkeeper who left his gloves behind to put on another pair, the gloves of revolution. From that day on, he became its guardian, and his name became the guardian of the revolution. His voice thundered in the squares. He wasn't singing, he was fighting with his voice, fending off with his throat what weapons could not. And when the battle turned to fire and bullets, he moved from the squares to the barricades. And carried the rifle as one carries an oath. He stood with his city until his last breath. And in his final days he sang. To his mother he sang the song that became his final promise. and Sarut was carried as a martyr to his mother, who had given all 6 of her sons as martyrs for the revolution, earning her the title, the Khansa of the Revolution. And there in the north, near the towering citadel of Aleppo, a man emerged from Morea, quiet as the land he tilled, steadfast as the grain he held between his fingers. Abdul Qadir al-Saleh, or as the people knew him, Haji Morea. He knew the grains as well as he knew his own soul, an honest merchant and a farmer who was a man of the people. His life was clearly defined: fields, a mosque, and his 5 children. But when the cry for freedom rose, he felt it was his duty to protect his people from the shelling. That the children crying in the basements were a part of his very soul. He left his trade. He sold his fields. He bought rifles. He set out with his comrades to defend and to fight. He was a leader, a fighter, a brother, and an inspiration. He united their hearts, defined the objective, and created hope. Then he achieved what he sought. He achieved martyrdom, and we all bear witness that he was a truly great leader and a truly great brother and ally. Haji Morea left behind a void larger than any battlefield. After he was gone, the maps changed, the conflict spread, and we were tempted by the spoils of war. As the days passed, the people realized the magnitude of their loss. The revolution after Haji Morea was never the same as it was before. And in Damascus, the free women, as in all Syrian cities, faced another face of cruelty, the cruelty of detention. Many women were kidnapped from their homes and disappeared into prison cells. Rania al-Abbasi, a doctor and chess champion, and a mother of 6 children. Her crime was that she opened her door to the displaced from Homs. Security forces stormed her house without warning. Without mercy, they grabbed her husband, then her. Then they went silently upstairs, as if deeply invading a peaceful dream, and gently took her sleeping children one by one, and then an entire family disappeared in an instant. To this day, no one knows where Rania's young children are. Syrians are still searching for her children, their eyes scanning for any news, any trace, any door that might open. When the land closed in on the Syrians, only the sea remained. A small family from Ain al-Arab in Aleppo took their children and journeyed into the night, searching for a safe shore, for a life where fire no longer chased them. But the boat capsized in an unforgiving darkness, and lives were scattered across the cold Aegean Sea. Death washed the body of Alan, the Kurdish child, onto the shore. His red shirt, his small shorts, and his body laid out on the sand, as if resting from a journey that had exhausted him. A Turkish police officer found him. He stood before him, bewildered, unable to comprehend what had happened. It was a single photograph, but it shook the world, not because a child had died, but because all of humanity felt that with its silence, it had played a part in letting him drown, and after Alan, the nations were moved to act. And after the victims of the forests and the seas, humanity disowned its policies. A sense of humanity rose among the people. Agreements were written, borders opened, and the sea was closed to the boats of death. Nations began to welcome refugees, perhaps to mask the ugliness of their deceitful policies. But it didn't last long. Soon, things went back to the way they were. Between the sea and the prisons, a man emerged from the Euphrates, from the sweetness of its water and the nobility of its people, Mazal Hamadi al-Naji, who carried on his shoulders the pain of the detainees. He took that pain to the world to expose what was hidden. And he told the world what the prisoners themselves could not say. He was a witness to the darkness, and every time he spoke, he would cry, his voice choked with emotion. He would gather his breath, compose himself, and continue describing. But the criminals could not bear his honesty and his voice. They threatened him. They threatened him with the worst they could, with what was dearest to him. They threatened him with his family. So Mazal returned to Syria, swallowing his fear. He returned knowing he was walking into a trap, surrendering his body once again to the dungeons. And just before the dawn of freedom, a heart was extinguished, a heart that had dreamed of witnessing the moment of deliverance, a moment Syrians awaited with him and for his sake. And his pure body insisted on being a witness to the truth of his story. Mazen returned, but he returned as a martyr for the truth, not just a witness to it. News came from Idlib, where all the free people of Syria had gathered. At first, whispers spread, then the whispers grew louder and became news. The crowds are preparing, the great battle has begun, and the destination is Aleppo. People couldn't believe it. Despair had weighed so heavily on their hearts that there was no room left for hope. Some were afraid, some trembled. They said, "It's impossible. It can't be done. And if it does happen, chaos will spread. Chaos will erupt, revenge will follow, and the country will be drowned in retribution." But what happened in those hours was something out of legends, a heroic tapestry unlike anything Syrians had ever known before. The heroes entered Aleppo, and this time victory came without revenge, without any additional bloodshed. A pure, untainted victory. Like the light of dawn after a very long night, the spark had been lit. When a group of young men slipped through enemy lines, they broke through the first wall, opened the first breach, and from there, the epics began. And as soon as Aleppo was liberated, all Syrians felt that the key to Syria had returned to their hands. The road to the south, to every occupied inch, seemed drawn by a wondrous divine will, and no one could even believe it. They saw the miracle with their own eyes. Syria was being cleansed city by city, darkness was retreating, and the oppressed people were achieving victory. And in Damascus, the country was united under the banner of freedom and justice. Prisoners were released, and those who had been absent returned.
Repeat, and I repeat, Bashar al-Assad fled Damascus to an unknown destination at the same time as the prisoners were freed from Sayyid Naya prison.
تبقى شامخ يا علمنا، تبقى راية الكل حر، تبقى رمز انت الوطن، فيك يحلى كل مر. لالي لالي بالعلالي ارتفع فوق الغيوم، يا علم ثورتنا غالي ترتفع ننسى الهموم.
And peace, this is your speaker. Hadi Alabdallah greets you.